All right. We're about there. So welcome, everyone. My name is Amy Jo Goddard. I've been teaching sexuality for 15 years. I teach in a lot of different venues. And I have taught everyone from pre-kindergartners to adults like yourself. So sexuality is for everybody, even the little ones. So my spiritual practice is quite varied. I practice Lakota spirituality and have studied shamanism and Rosicrucianism and have sort of come from many different places in terms of my spiritual life to where I am today and to the way in which I approach sexuality. I don't see a big difference between the energy of spirit and the energy of sex. I think that it all comes from the same thing. I think that spirituality and sexuality are sourced from the same vibrant energy in all of us. So probably you all agree on some level or you wouldn't be here this weekend. So I love to be in environments like this where I feel like we're already working with some agreements, maybe. So I want to talk a little bit today about how we can incorporate ritual more into our sexual lives. And I think what happens a lot of times for people is that things get stale. We start to kind of go along. We get into like patterns. We start to feel like, oh, is this it for me? Am I not ever going to have a juicy sexual life again? I'm in this long-term relationship and things are like settling. Am I settling? And so I think one of the things that I've really grown to believe is that we need to treat our sexual lives the way that we might treat our spiritual lives. So I have a spiritual practice. How many people actually have a spiritual practice? Okay. How many people actually have a sexual practice? Okay, that's pretty good. That's not usually the case. So I think that we can approach our sexual lives in the same kind of way. So I want us to just kind of riff on some ideas around that today. And so a lot of this also is just about sharing ideas because a lot of people just raise their hands. And so I want to know what you're doing for your sexual practice. Don't other people want to know? Yeah? Maybe? All right, are we tired? It's like low energy in here. I don't know what just happened. It's what?
It's not low.
Okay. It's quiet. We're sad. All right. I'm sad today too, so I can be with that. Okay. All right. So we're going to move into... All right. Well, that's a great thing to think about in terms of how we actually might want to ritualize our sexuality and our sexual lives. So I just want to hear from people very briefly, just like your name, one ritual you do for yourself on a daily basis or somewhat of a daily basis. We're going to do just like really quick. Can I start with you, Sahava?
Sure, I'm Sahava, and I dance every day, and I let it move me into different states that usually involve a lot of sound and breath and touch.
Fantastic. Great.
Summer Heather, and I sing and dance every day that also takes me to the
All right. All right. Singers and dancers.
I'm Anton. I have a ritual every morning. I go down to 54th and get a bagel and coffee.
Exactly.
And when I don't do that, my whole day is...
It's messed up, right?
Yeah, it's messed up.
It's messed up.
And I've discovered that that is a ritual.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
New York ritual. All right.
Every day I make the coffee, and then I meditate on my orgasmic energy and bring it up and run it through my system.
Okay. So you have your coffee and your meditation. I like that.
I'm Deborah. I
Deborah.
cook.
You what?
I cook.
You cook? Yeah. Absolutely.
I'm Keith. I eat what Deborah cooks.
You what?
I eat what Deborah cooks.
You eat what Deborah cooks. Okay. All right.
I'm Keela. I realized with that question I actually do several rituals, but the one that I'm thinking of is conscious breathing, especially microcosmic orbit breathing every day.
Conscious breathing.
Yeah.
And I didn't hear the last part.
Especially microcosmic orbit breathing every day.
Okay. Great. Thank you. behind. Let's get these guys back in.
My name is John, and I do silent prayer / meditation every day.
Sound and prayer?
Yeah, silent prayer / meditation.
Great, thank you. So let's get the guys over to your right. A ritual, you do it every day, almost every day, anything.
My name is George. I try to do asana practice pretty much every day.
You do what?
Asana practice. Yoga.
Thank you.
Okay.
I breathe when I wake up in the morning.
You read?
Yeah, I take a few breaths in child's
As a way of
pose.
starting your day?
Yeah, it's like it's coffee and bagel.
With the coffee, yes.
No,
Coffee's
without-
a part of ritual. It's really hard to hear with the noise of the... I will... Ooh. We just turned up the mic.
Test. Okay.
Now-
I'm Lolita, and I put lotion all over my body every day.
Yeah, so lathering ourselves, nourishing our bodies, all right?
I'm Julie, and in the morning I light a candle, and then I breathe in and scream really loud and laugh, and then I go running.
Fantastic. And do you live in New York City?
Yes.
Your neighbors must love you. It's the screening lady again. Oh, but there's the laughter.
I'm Douglas, and I dance every day.
Fantastic.
I feed my cat every day.
You what?
I feed my cat
You feed
every
your
day.
cat. I thought you said you beat your cat. I'm like, that can't be what she said. Thank you for clarifying.
I'm John, and I squeeze a lemon into a glass of water every day. Then I follow it up with 2 packets of emergency vitamin C mix. Then my green drink. Then when I'm in the car when I go to work, I have my red apple and my banana, neither of which I like. But that's my ritual.
All right. Sometimes just the rituals keep us grounded.
Hi, I'm Janellen, and my daily spiritual practice is Merkabic meditation.
Great.
Hello, my name is Barbara, and I dance.
Melissa, I breathe.
I'm Gabriella, and my spiritual practice is to make love to myself and everyone I come into contact with, if they'll let me.
Okay.
I'm Jim, and anything I do slowly feels like a ritual, like shaving or preparing my fruits and vegetables for a green smoothie. But I think I've gotten a new ritual now. Here.
My name is Alice, and I smile at strangers.
Ooh, that's so edgy for New York, you know?
Hi, my name is Ricardo. Although I am a holistic healer, as they call, thinking this to answer this question is just like my spiritual practice. I think it's like I dwell on that every day. How can I give more? 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 That's my real practice.
Mildred, meditative masturbation and letting go.
Daniel, I brew stovetop espresso coffee over a low flame to give myself time to awaken every day.
DNA, I drink coffee every morning. That is my ritual right now. My intentional ritual is to breathe in front of a candle at least once when I wake up and once before I go to bed, to sit in front of it and just have that time.
My name's David. Every time I consume, I offer praise and thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. It's awesome to hear what people are doing and how you're ritualizing your lives. What did you notice in the things you hear? I have my morning tea. Sorry. So the first thing I do after I brush my teeth is I make my tea. That starts my day. So very simple. And then I sit at my altar. at least for 5 minutes, but hopefully for like 30 before I leave my house. So what do you notice in the things that you hear? What are some of the elements of people's rituals? What are some of the elements? Or what's important? Mindfulness? Okay.
The moment of breath, whether it's actual breathing, but it's a moment of a space.
So I like how you said that. So it's a moment of breath, a moment of creating space for yourself, right? Okay. What else? Yeah.
Doing something for yourself. It's up taking the time to nurture yourself.
Yeah. You're nurturing yourself, taking time for yourself. What else? What are other important elements here? Some joy, yeah. Okay. Other things.
For each individual, there's no question about it, but for that person, it might be something that only that person knows that he or she does. Maybe a lot of people they see every day has no idea that they do that, but for them it's definitely a ritual.
It's kind of like something that's for me, right? Something that's for me. Okay. Other things. So if when we're creating rituals, so I started by just asking what a daily ritual is for us, and so I want to talk about the different elements of ritual, and I meant to ask for is there a easel? Okay, that'd be great. So I want to talk about kind of the different levels in which we might think about ritual as it might pertain to our sexual lives. I think the core of ritual, whether it's a daily ritual that we do, whether it's something really simple, or whether it's something more elaborate that we're creating a space for, whether it's something we do only one time in our whole life, is that there's an intention there. There's an intention that is at it's the foundation of why we're there. So everybody I heard a lot of people speak to what their intention was in the rituals that they're doing on a daily basis. And then the way that we do that has more meaning, right? And someone said mindfulness, right? So that's part of what brings that mindfulness in, is that there's a very specific intention in setting up that space for ourselves or setting up that space with ourselves and another. And it allows for us to be really mindful. And someone said, like, I notice each thing, I'm getting the vegetables for my juice, I'm paying attention, right? And I'm doing each thing very consciously. So that's part of what's important to consider. So I actually want to have us, while we get this together here, I'm going to ask people to stand up, if that's okay. Ground some of the sadness down through our feet. Let some of that go. And I'm going to ask people to actually form two circles. So one circle can kind of come inside of the cloth.
Inside the cloth?
Yeah, inside the cloth. Let's see if we can have kind of like equal. Maybe we need to make it bigger. There we go. No, one circle inside and one on the outside. One on the outside. So I want the people on the outside to come stand behind someone inside the circle. All right. So I'm going to ask everyone to find your seats. We don't want to stop talking. This is good. I hate to do it, but we only get 40 minutes today. Normally we'd spend way more time. So I hate interrupting these juicy conversations. But in the service of time. So, what were some of the functions of ritual for you? What does it do? Some of the functions of ritual for you. What does it actually do?
Creates intention.
Okay, so we mentioned about creating intention. What else?
Conditioning.
What's that?
Conditioning. It helps you. Help opening conditioning. You just immediately fall to that space.
Conditioning. Sometimes conditioning's good. Sometimes It takes us away from ourselves.
New discoveries.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. New discoveries. What else?
Allows you to be open to your highest good experiences.
Open to what?
Highest good experiences.
To highest good. Okay.
Create the container to be able to bring honor.
Yeah, container for honor or respect, as she said. Okay, someone in the back, Alolita.
Sets the stage for the beginning of something.
The beginning. Yeah. Someone else. Creating what? Usefulness in the way of what? Okay. Other things.
It slows me down and has me be more mindful.
And with mindfulness, presence.
Presence. Presence. Yep. I find that it centers me, it grounds me a lot of times. Other functions?
Stability and regularity and identity.
Say more. What do you mean?
It can provide continuity in life.
Continuity. Okay.
It can divert the mind and get it out of the way so that we connect more with spirit.
That highest good again. Okay. Yeah. Clears. So lots of reasons to do it. I think that so in terms of thinking about our sexuality, there are 4 levels that we can think of in terms of how we might want to bring more ritual into what we're doing. So the first one is an individual level. And that's largely what we've been talking about. I actually have a handout. I hope I have enough. If not, share, and I'll email them to you. Steve, could I actually get a piece of paper to get people's emails? Could I get a piece of paper and a pen for emails? Thanks. So, actually, I need one of those. Thank you. So solo rituals are individual rituals, things we might want to do for ourselves to acknowledge something in our sexuality, to honor our bodies, to honor where we are in some aspect of our lives. One thing we didn't mention on that list is transition. So ritual plays a very big role in terms of transition in our lives. And so a lot of times we're going through transitions, whether it's relationship transitions, transitions around our aging body, and having to let go of things that maybe used to be a part of our sexual experience, that things aren't working quite like that anymore. So, so people could share. I think there's not enough handouts, so if people would pass some back so that people can get a few. And we'll get an email list around, and I will email it to you, to everyone, to make sure you get it. So people can just share with the person next to you as much as we can. Thank you. So, so things like a friend of mine had a client who stopped ejaculating, and he was very sad about it. And he really was connected to the outdoors and to the woods. And so she sent him into the woods. She said, go do a ritual to say goodbye to your ejaculate. And so he did that and actually felt much better because of it. So when we can ritualize something like that, when we can say, wow, like my body, either for aging or health or just because of where we are in our lives or even our desires and what we want in terms of our sexual nature, become different. Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you. So there's a, just give me an email and I'll send you, because I know not everyone got the handout, so I'll send that to you. So some things we might consider in that way. And then as we've been mentioning, certainly things that might take on more of a daily or spiritual practice is also excellent. So then there's like rituals you can do with a couple, with partners. So lots of things that you might consider in terms of a partner ritual. Maybe you just want to do something that's really going to bring you closer together. Maybe it's an anniversary and you want to create some kind of practice for your anniversary. I have a couple of friends who have been together for well over 15 years now. And every anniversary, they actually sit together. They have a ritual of coming together to talk about how their year has been and whether they want to continue to be with each other the next year. And so we just kind of take that for granted a lot of times. So I love that they bring that much intention to, let's really check in and see where are we. Do we want to continue into this next year? Every year. I had a woman come to a workshop a few years ago, and she and her partner had been together for 21 years. And every anniversary, the two of them wrote questions that they decided that year they were going to answer about themselves, their growth, their relationship. They took some time to write. And then they came together and shared that writing. And the questions changed each year. They would just decide together. I was like, you've got to publish a book. That would be amazing. Like, can you imagine 21 years of really like a thoughtful, intentional diary of what has happened in this relationship? So thinking about special events like anniversaries is great. And also, of course, breakups, right? I think that we're actually really bad at breaking up in this culture. And I think that if we actually ritualized our breakups, we'd be in a much better place. So I've been going through one this summer, and it took us a while to get to a place where we could do that. But we came together and we did a breakup ritual in our home. And we sat in each room of our home and talked about memories that we had for each room. We made an offering to each other. We talked about our hopes for the future. We built an altar together. And so we we cooked together. Sort of like the last time we were going to cook together in our home. So that allows for some closure and for some moving on and for some letting go. And of course, I'm like, what ritual do I need to do next? Because this still is really hard, you know. But that was really important to actually to have that together. And so there's pieces now for me to do on my own. And then there can also be pieces that we can do in our communities as well. Sometimes we need to really be witnessed. So certainly consummating a new home. Many of us have had rituals like that, right? Lots of fun rituals we can do. Sex rituals, bathing rituals, healing rituals that we can do for each other. There's no right or wrong. There's no one way to do anything. It's just about, let's create this space. Let's really set aside this time for each other to connect, and how do we want to do that, and what's our intention for it. So then we have group rituals, and we also have community rituals. So there's some overlap, but so group rituals, wanting to bring together a group of people that can witness us in a place, or that we can share something together. So how many people were at the puja last night? I see some familiar faces, right? So that was a community ritual, right? We were bringing together a whole community of people. Sometimes it might be smaller, and it's a certain group of people that we very specifically want to bring together around something in terms of healing our bodies, honoring our sexual selves, being seen, and it's something that we actually don't get a lot of permission to do in this culture, right? We're supposed to kind of deal with it on our own. We're not supposed to be witnessed in that way unless it's a marriage, right? A wedding, you know, a naming ceremony, a birth. We have rituals around those things. But I think other pieces of who we are, we don't actually have as much ritual for, and we don't get enough permission for. So it can be about anything. It can be anything that is meaningful for you, or something you're going through, or you want to invite into your sexual life, into your relationships, that you want to be witnessed, or you want to share that with people that you love. Has anyone done sort of like a group ritual like that? Anyone want to share? Give. Yeah. So she talked about doing something with groups of women where they're able to honor each other. I've done massage rituals. Group massage is great. I really recommend it. So bringing people together to just like, and again, kind of similar in terms of last night's puja, the idea was to not have it be about going into a sexual energy per se, that it was not like we're here to have sex, we're here to invoke that energy and that creative source, that it's all from the same place. So healing touch is a really big piece in terms of group rituals. And I think also one thing that I've come to do a lot of work in my work around is shame, is looking at how we can actually heal shame. And shame only exists when it's in isolation. That's how we keep shame alive. That's how shame thrives and kind of like multiplies its cells, is when we're isolated with it. And so a lot of really powerful stuff can be done to really shift shame, which we could carry for years and years and years about aspects of our sexuality. And in one really intentional ritual, we could do a lot of healing around shame and guilt and other traumas around our sexuality. So I think that's really important to say, because a lot of times we're really blocked and we're not inviting the things we want into our lives because of that shame and that guilt and those kinds of traumas. And then, of course, community rituals, which are bigger a lot of times, depending on the community, where lots of people are invited to come. Everyone is there as witness, to play a role, to honor, to celebrate. We didn't mention celebration over here, so I think a lot of rituals are meant for celebration, right? So certainly weddings or celebrations of love, other kinds of menstruation rituals, coming of age rituals, those kinds of things. I mean, again, an area where we're really lacking ritual in our lives. Rituals meant to bring a community together, to put out energy to end sexual violence, to really bring in a lot of powerful energy, right? We can do a lot as one person, but when we bring in a lot of us and we're really like bringing that energy into sort of one big bit of energy and intention and sending that out, that's much more powerful. And so thinking about things we might like to do. Sometimes we might want to honor gender also. We make a lot of transitions around our gender, either really physically or in terms of our identity, in terms of who we are. Also thinking about how we might just honor ourselves. I think the culture really supports us honoring couples, right? We honor couples, Valentine's Day, it's like everyone that's single is like... because the culture is just like, it's just so permeates everything that we need to be in partnership and be in couples. So again, how can we kind of like within a larger community really do something for ourselves? Other rituals people have done. I'm just moving quickly because I know we're short for time, so this is usually double the time as many are. Anything people want to share, like a ritual that's been powerful for you?
Rituals around death. My grandfather passed recently, and our whole family actually stripped him, massaged him, and played music that he listened to, and just to be able to get physical with a dead body was really healing for all of us, and to wrap him in these rose sheets and have our experience before the formalities happened was really powerful for my whole family.
Yeah, death is another big one, right? So, sex, death, and love. So we're quickly coming to a close. I have some worksheets, and again, I will email to everyone, so make sure you get on the list so that you have this for yourselves. But there's simple ways we can really create a ritual. So I find that writing it down and really organizing my thoughts about what I want to do is helpful. Certainly if you're involving other people, really, really helpful to do that because they're not inside your head. So I want to encourage people as homework to create a ritual that's either for yourself, something you want to share with a partner, or something you want to do in a group or in a larger community. And there are, lots of suggestions on the handout I gave you, and that's certainly not an exhaustive list. So, just in terms of, it's simple, right? What's the setup? What do I need? What am I going to invoke? So what's an invocation? What am I going to invoke at the beginning? And then what's the main action, initiation, or movement that's happening? The sky is the limit. It can be anything. Are you nude? Are you wearing clothes? Are you in the bathtub? Are you, where are you? What's the action? And then having some kind of intention, prayer, or request that you're sending out. And then creating some kind of closure. So many of us, if we work with the unseen world, maybe we invite spirits in, or we invite in ancestors or witnesses, and so we want to send them back to where they go. Or sometimes things get a little funky here on the earth plane. So, so some kind of closure for the people that are present, and also any spirits that we might have invited. So it's just a simple outline, but a way to kind of organize. So I want to encourage you, as you've taken in all of this deliciousness this weekend, to find a way to create some very specific ritual for yourself. I teach a women's sexuality empowerment apprenticeship. I have pushed the fall start date back to October 12th. I have a couple of slots left. It is an opportunity for women to work in an ongoing way and go much deeper in terms of their exploration, healing, celebration of their sexuality. So I have some pamphlets outside. If people are interested, please talk to me. And I'm going to offer, if people from the Sacred Sex Roundup do the program, I'm going to offer $100 off of your tuition. So please talk to me if that seems interesting for you. It's on Tuesday nights, and we have a few full Saturdays that are kind of retreat days, and we do special events and ritual in the evenings. So that's happening this fall from October 12th through the beginning of December. So I'd love to talk to you more if you're interested. So let me hand these out. Take one if you think you're going to run home and write one right away. And for everyone else, I will email this to you. So thank you for your attention and your conversation. And do something for the sadness.
All right, we'll take care of that, Amy, for you.